Welcome to Veteran to Veteran, a show that's going to be dealing with issues for all you veterans that are out there. I'm Conrad Kaskowski from the American Legion here in Plymouth, Wisconsin, the Ladwig Zinkraft Post 243. With me is Dwayne Wick. He's also a member of the Post, but he is also the county commander for our area, so he takes care of a lot of the posts and helps them out wherever, right, Dwayne?
Definitely. 13 different posts throughout the county, so at times it can be challenging.
Okay.
So, I believe the subject that we selected for the show today is the POW MIA, and if you look at my hat, you'll see that I don't have my typical hat on, but I do have a POW MIA hat, and we'll be talking about that, explaining what it is.
Right, Dwayne. Prisoners of war and missing in action. Subject that we could talk about easily for over an hour or more. Now we're only going to cover the basics, some local history. So Dwayne, let's get started off with the basics.
Okay. A prisoner of war, POW, a war combatant captured and imprisoned by enemy armed forces. However, under certain circumstances, a citizen may be a POW. A member of an armed force who is captured while engaged in espionage, spying is excluded from the prisoner of war status. Missing in action, MIA, is a casualty classified for war combatants who are reported missing during wartime or a ceasefire period. They may have been killed, died in captivity, or executed, and their remains have not been recovered.
So our discussion will be focused on after World War II. However, in World War I, it's estimated there were burials of 80,000 of the 116,500 deaths of both combat and non-combatants. It is estimated that over 14,000 are listed as missing in action. Well, one of the main reasons is because these paper forms were used back then, and they were just basically kept in cardboard boxes and over the time have just simply disappeared.
However, for Sheboygan County, World War I records from the U.S. Army 32nd Division, 127th Infantry, Company C, Wisconsin National Guard, Red Arrow Division of Sheboygan reported 11 missing in action and 1 prisoner of war.
Continuing on with that theme, with Sheboygan County for World War II, there are 31 missing in action, 5 that were prisoners of war, and for the Korean War, there are 3 listed as missing in action and 9 prisoners of war. And lastly, 1 missing in action from the Vietnam War. Now there's one thing to be noted when we're referring to the Navy and sailor and officers in the Navy that are listed as missing in action. So many of them were lost at sea, and then later it was contributed as killed in action.
Locally here in Plymouth, there was a prisoner of war camp. German prisoners of war were housed at the Sheboygan County Fairgrounds. The camp was opened in 1945 and started with 238 prisoners and grew to an additional 3,200 plus. The prisoners were not required to work, but due to boredom and an opportunity to earn coupons in exchange for cigarettes, candy, and the such, they also worked at canning factories and in the farm fields throughout the county.
Now in regards to Americans that have been listed as prisoners of war, 142,085 women since World War I have been held in captivity.
The military spirit embraces a commitment to the life of every military member and recognition that no combat-related injury death or missing troop is written off. In 1979, POW MIA Recognition Day was established by a presidential proclamation by President Jimmy Carter, commemorating the third Friday of September as a POW MIA Recognition Day. Every year, Plymouth recognizes that day at the City Hall flagpole at 8 a.m. with a ceremony. Now, the American Legion also recognizes POW and MIA with a silent march in September. We've mentioned that the American Legion Riders, the Motorcycle Association, also has a commitment to escort these recovered and identified. And I just got a notice a couple hours ago that Sergeant Ralph H. Bodie from Racine was identified and is being returned, and they will escort him on September 20th to his home in Racine.
Well, Dwayne, I know many people have seen a flag that I'm going to be showing you shortly. It's called POW MIA flag. And they wonder exactly, what is that flag? What is it all about? Why is it so significant? And I believe you have some history about this flag.
Okay. So yes, this is what we put on an empty chair at all ceremonies. So in 1971, Mrs. Michael Hoff, a missing in action MIA wife of a member of the National League of Families, recognized the need for a symbol for our prisoners of war missing in action, POW MIAs. Prompted by an article in the Jackson, Florida Times-Union, Mrs. Hoff contacted Norman Rivkes, vice president of Annan and Company, which made a banner for the newest member of the United Nations, the People's Republic of China, as a part of their policy to provide flags to all UN member nations. Mrs. Hoff found Mr. Rivkes very sympathetic with the POW MIA issue, and he, along with Annan's advertising agency, designed a flag to represent our missing men and women. Following the League approval, the flags were manufactured for distribution.
Now, I understand there's been some changes made to this flag.
So concerned groups and individuals have altered the original POW MIA flag many times. The colors have been switched from black and white to red, white, and blue, and now to white and black, which is what we have now.
So when did this flag become official?
On March 9th, 1989, the official League flag, which flew over the White House on 1988 National POW Recognition Day, was installed in the U.S. Capitol Rotunda as a result of legislation passed overwhelmingly during the 100th Congress. The leadership of both houses hosted the installation ceremony and a demonstration of bipartisan congressional support.
Well, we in the American Legion in 1984, at the 67th National Convention, adopted Resolution number 288, designated an empty chair at all official meetings as a physical symbol of the thousands of American POWs that are still unaccounted. Dwayne, there's more that we could have said about this subject, but I believe from the definitions and to the history of the POW MIA flag, everyone now should have a good idea of why we care so much about this subject. So until the next time, I want you to please stay healthy, safe, be active, and we really appreciate you taking the time watching.